All right, good morning. Sorry I'm late. Man, there's a bunch of news, so I'm trying to get it all sorted out here real quick. We have a lot to go over today, and the market is already moving pre-market, which are things that we like to see. So, good morning. I'm Darkwell Algo, and thanks for joining me on another morning watchlist building session. Let me just get signed into the chat real quick, and I will start taking questions. All right, I'm going to do my best to engage. I've got a support ticket going on in my other machine over here. I am super dark right now for some reason. Oh, what is up, dude? YouTube, come on. It's so irritating. So my son decided he wanted to get on YouTube on my computer, and I'm like, dude, don't get on YouTube because I've got my personal account and I've got my streaming account. And he starts watching all these Roblox videos, and it jacks up all my stuff, right? It jacks up my algorithm for YouTube. It jacks up what I watch. Yeah, it's just pretty crummy little deal, little dude. All right, there we go. All right, now I'm signed into the correct YouTube. I've got the news taken care of. I'm gonna get signed into the chat and we will get going. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I know that my entire household was sick. Trying and fighting off coming down with something. I'm doing a really good job at it too. Not really, dude. It's starting to kick my ass a little bit. That's all right. So in the market today, we've got a ton of news coming out, a bunch of upgrades. Snowflake came out with an upgrade from the weekend watch list. I didn't really get a chance to put it out. I had an issue with my... Hold on one second here. 1 second. Uno momento, por favor. If I don't get this taken care of, there's going to be an entire community, trading community, that's not going to be able to do anything today. Because I didn't get my stuff done. All right. That looks right. Alright, so good morning. I know, dude, everybody sucks. I mean, not everybody sucks. Being sick sucks for everybody. Alright, what am I looking at here? I need one more chart, and then we will get into it. So, does anybody remember what the weekend watch list was? I did it so long ago that I forgot it already. I had it written down. Maybe it's over here still. Hold on. Yeah, snow. So, okay, so snow was on the weekend watch list. Snow came out with an upgrade this morning. That's the first news out of the gate. Snow upgraded outperform from market perform at William Blair. That's pretty decent for Snow. Snow's probably going to do pretty good. Build fell out of the bottom of my demand zone. All right, so let's check out Snow for a second. I went over it pretty extensively in the watch list, but they got... Oh, Roblox is moving. They got that upgrade this morning, and instead of falling off a cliff like everybody else, they went from 279.94 up to 288.7, pulled back, and they're trying to get back through the 5-minute top. What that looks like over here, right? On the 4-hour weekly bottom bounce, if they can get up above this 200 SMA at 290, let's just call it 290, the 290... 300 move is real, should be pretty easy. That would be 4-hour bottom to 4-hour mid, 21 EMA on the 4-hour. Above that, they hit the 4-hour top at 310, 315. That upgrade's really going to help them out. So Snow, hold on 1 second. Next, you need to toggle the orange cloud off. Okay. All right, there we go. That upgrade should really give Snow a boost. We will definitely spend some time getting into futures today, and it's going to be really interesting. I thought we'd come back bouncing pretty hard, but obviously there was a pretty big significant drop off. Okay. JD has inked a strategic partnership with Canada's Shopify to boost its cross-border business, according to Bloomberg. JD is one of those fun ADR stocks to trade. Pulled back to the 34, stack positive moving averages. Slingshot squeeze may be able to pop off. Ready and fired, getting ready to set off. Going into this morning, it was double green. Okay. We'll end this chat now and come back in an hour or so. Okay. Pretty decent pullback the last couple days, right to the 4-hour bottom, bounced off that, looking to retake the 4-hour mid, right, 73, 200 SMAs at the daily top at 75.75. It's going to be a pretty decent rejection point on its way up to the 4-hour top. Now, okay, so looking at it from above 73.50, it moves to 75.82 and then 76. So JD can be a pretty decent cheap play. Shopify should get some benefit from that news as well, right? Shopify at the end of the day, man, look at that sucker. The last 45 minutes of Shopify, it went 10.72 to 11.15, fell off overnight. It's trying to regain the 4-hour mid, right? Negatively stacked moving averages, slingshot squeeze, failed to release. So we've got some mixed signals here. Ready aim fire, which is the slow stochastic, is giving us a buy signal. We're coming off of rejection of the 13 EMA and the 4-hour bottom, right? If we get a pullback at open to the 4-hour bottom, we can look at a move back up to 4-hour mid, which is the 21 EMA at the 4-hour, and then back up into this cluster of major support, weekly bottom, 4-hour top, daily bottom. Like, we want to be up in here with Shopify. So I don't trade Shop, but I mean, Shop above 1150 is going to rip, right? But it's got to get through this little fight it's got going on here, right? So to the downside, I also want to be looking at everything to the downside today because of just the fear that's going on. So we rejected the 13, we held the 4-hour bottom. If we break the 4-hour bottom, right, and we break previous low, 10.25.52, I think we've got a pretty decent move, 10.17, 9.72, 9.28 incoming. This is what that looks like on Shopify. I know some people trade this. I've never traded it, so I don't even know how it moves. But I do know that one of two things is going to happen with it today, and this is what it's going to look like. It's either going to, right, reject, probably reject there, right, some sort of move like that. I think that looks pretty decent. Falling 50, falling 200 on the lower time frames. Definitely downtrending stock, right? Looking for a miracle, for a reversal. Don't try to buy the dip on this one. Possible inverse head and shoulders forming on the 4 hours. So give it another couple days, right? Left shoulder, big old head, right shoulder. So that would be up and down, right? So up to 4-hour top, right? Or the 34, and then back down to 4-hour bottom would complete the inverse head and shoulders on Shopify, going out long into the next couple of weeks. So I may want to put Shop on my list of stuff to watch. Pretty interested in that. So let me just make a note of this to somebody who wants to listen to me this morning. Looking at Shop for a new beast number. All right. Okay. All right, the chat's over. All right, moving on. The U.S. Senate panel is set on Thursday to debate a bill that aims to rein in app stores of companies that some lawmakers say exert too much market control, including Apple and Google. Again, the Senate is going to start screwing with the Apple and the Google. Google, I believe, usually is pretty decent with news. Oh, look at that drop off, dude. Failed bull flag breakout all the way down to 4-hour bottom gap down. It's pretty nasty. Pretty nasty. Dead cat bounce possible on Google if it bounces off of this. If it bounces off of the hourly Keltner channel, it can move down to the downside pretty good. This looks. Yeah, this was setting up a bull flag, but it failed. Now it could do a Wu-Tang reversal, or it could just do a simple 1, 2, 3 Dow reversal to the upside. Google, if it breaks below, if it takes out pre-market lows, it's got the 4-hour bottom come in at 27.15, followed by the low at 26.63. I gotta get a. Hold on. Sorry, no Twitter restream today. Sorry, Charlie, not coming through. Tired of giving it away free for Twitter. I've been streaming on Twitter for free for weeks now, and it's not cool, bro. It's just not cool. Why am I so damn laggy? No, it's because I got this stupid effing program up. Okay. Alright, that should help a little bit. I was starting to drop frames and it was pissing me off. Alright, here we go. So what I was saying is Google rally, bounce up the 60 bottom. If it bounces off the 60 bottom, then we got a longer term move coming in on Google. It starts taking out the 4-hour bottom at 27.33, move down to 27.15, move down to, geez, dude, 26.61. Those are some pretty significant downside moves. Slingshot, squeeze, double red. Google is going to lead the market, like lead the way today. Apple. So dead cat bounce on Apple, pullback up, down. So it's either setting up a gnarly 1, 2, 3 reversal, right? Pretty gnarly one right here, right? Shout out to that Wu-Tang, right? So 4-hour top blowout daily. There's the dub. Excuse me. I'd love to see that move play out. Weekly bottom cloud to weekly top, 170 to 174. 4-hour mids coming in at 173.50. So those 173.50s look pretty decent on Apple. I'm going to watch those suckers too. I don't even trade Apple, but every time I have, it's been pretty decent to me. To the downside, so we need to look at those downside plays. If Apple breaks 170, we have a what is this? 167.50s, 173.50, 167.50s. That's the Apple move. Okay. All right. Directv, which is owned by AT&T and TPG via a joint venture, plans to drop One America News Network, dealing a major blow to the conservative channel that's been a loyal fan in the former President Trump. AT&T, that's not good for y'all, dude. You were doing so well, right? Big old inverted head and shoulders, big old pop, bull flag forming. Keep in mind, AT&T's got the 200 SMA at 27.50 overhead, right? This has been a pretty decent move. AT&T blowout top at above about 27.75. Monthly mid at 28.13. There's your resistance on the way up. If it gets above those, rally into earnings. Earnings this week. AT&T's got earnings. So options plays will have extremely inflated IV. So I wouldn't trade any weeklies on AT&T unless you get next week's. And then still, even with that, I would wait to earnings to see what's going on with earnings. This one's going to be a little hard to tell. Keep in mind they've got the daily 200 SMA at 27.50. That's a major roadblock as well as the weekly top. So AT&T is coming up into resistance right now. If it gets a blowout top, which means if it crosses above the 200 and above the, so above 27.50, above 27.73, that blowout top leads to 29 pretty quickly, right? I would be looking for downside moves on AT&T. This is a tough one. It's got a bull flag forming on the intraday, right? It's looking a little overextended over here, right? But it's got the momentum, right? No squeezes have really popped off. Dividend day rally. Keep an eye on it. As far as pullbacks go, if it gets down below 27, then the move is down to 26.50. And then 26. AT&T, 50-cent increments. Keep an eye on it, okay? Activation Blizzard, ATVI. Didn't we talk about this one a couple weeks ago on our weekly watch list? ATVI. Right. Fired or pushed out more than 3 dozen employees and disciplined about 40 others since July as part of efforts to address alleged allegations of sexual harassment and other misconduct at the video game giant. Yeah, you know what? Fire the whole damn company. Start over again. Hey, what's up, Blind Trader? Sorry. Morning, Laz. Dude, Laz, were you the first one here? Good job, brother. Morning, Terry. Morning, Johnny. And morning, Blind Trader. It's been a while. Hope things are going well. Okay. Elliott Investments. And they're in advanced talks to buy Citrix, according to people familiar with the matter. Elliott Investors have tapped banks to finance their offer. The people said a deal could be announced within the next couple of weeks. Angie mentioned positively in Barron's. Netflix late Friday said that it raised monthly prices in U.S. Canada starting today. Standard plan raised to $15.49 from $13.99 in the U.S. And U.S. prices increased $1 to $2 per month, depending on the plan. I've been with Netflix for almost 20 years now, 15 years. Yeah, 11, 12, 13, about 13 years. Since 2009, 8, something like that. It was like $8 a month. So, Netflix does has earnings coming up. They've typically blown on their earnings. They do have earnings Thursday, so we'll play at Netflix for earnings, right? Big old rally up, consolidation, falling off a cliff, gave up all their gains. They are currently chilling at the 4-hour bottom. If they break, jeez, dude, if they break lows from Friday, the next move I have for them is down to like 482 with 500 as the psychological level. So Netflix puts 500, 510, 500 if it maintains this level of support. And at 525, look for a move to 533 and then potentially 540 with resistance at 535. Pretty easy, clear move. Slingshot squeeze, double red, double red, double red. Yeah, look, I'm going to keep an eye on Netflix to the downside. Netflix down. Burn, sucker, burn. Okay, again, Netflix does have earnings this week. Don't buy weeklies this week. Wait till next week. Figure out which way it's going to go. Okay. Baba. Alibaba. Baba shares slide over 4% after a report that the Biden administration is viewing whether its cloud business poses a risk to U.S. national security, according to 3 people briefed in the matter. Too bad, Baba. It was starting to make a little recovery, right? And then it just got clapped, right? Squeezes have fired off. So, I mean, it's down 4%. Dead cat bounce. H bottom. Dude, don't get caught trying to catch bottoms and Baba. You'll get burnt, burnt, burnt. All right, so it failed its 50. It's currently in the daily top. Look for a move down to the 21, which it blew through. Blew through that. Where's it at trading at right now? All right, so it blew through the bottom of the 4 hours. The next support is weekly top at 122. Below that, 115. And then finally daily bottom at 112. Okay. Does it do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Correction. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So down to, we make a little bit of a pop. I'm just not going to touch it within a 10-foot pole, to be honest with you. You guys want to trade, Baba? Have fun. Ionis Pharmaceuticals announced its partner with Roche in designing a new phase 2 trial to evaluate a Huntington's disease. They ripped off of that news. Right, 3150 to 33. They're trying to take out, right, they're trying to get back to its former glory. 200 SMA at 35. Currently in a trading zone. So daily top at 33 to 34. Sorry. There's a daily top from 33.75 to 34.25. Above the daily top, immediate overhead resistance. Previous lows at 35. 35 is that psychological number. There may be a quick move in it. Safe move is above 30. Is above this 200 SMA for a move to the weekly top. Okay, currently at the weekly mid. What happens at stocks at the mid? They either make a decision to go to the top or the bottom. Okay. Aluminum, ILMN. Jeez, I need to. Oh, hold on. I'll be right back. 1 second. Sorry about that. I had to wake up my daughter. ILMN, upgraded to buy from hold. It's Stifle. Right, look at this. This is the power of the 200 SMA. It hit it, rejected it. This is probably a 618 pullback. Right. Pre-market, it's rallying. It's trying to overtake. Where are we at right now? It's trying to get back up into the daily cloud. That's probably a better look. Nice pullback to the 21. This is a 618 retracement. This is a great setup here. If it can get back into the daily cloud, it's going to hit the 4-hour top at 411, 411 to 415. Above 415, excuse me, above 416.50, we're going to run into the 200 again at 423. This is a powerful play. I'm going to write this sucker down. I might even trade this ILMN. This is a good stock right there. Pfizer and BNTX, fourth shot COVID vaccine boosts antibodies to even higher levels than the third jab, but not enough to prevent Omicron infections, according to a preliminary study in Israel. Right, just like the market, they fell off. They've been chopping ever since. Right, they did come down and kiss the 50-period SMA on the 4-hour. Right, which is right here. They legit hit it. If this is a double bottom, there's a bunch of different shapes taking place here. So you've got that little foot, right, the arch of the heel, and then the toe, the big toe flicks prices back up, right? That's the little elf shoe that I think Sam from Simpler Trading uses. This is a double bottom. It's also kind of an H pattern. Negatively stacked moving averages, choppy, JT multi-trend. Stochastic is curling around. Squeeze is curling around. Quick little pop to bull flag. 4-hour mid. Nope. Where's that? There's a lot of support here. I would wait till it gets above 54.78, right? Just to be safe, to see if it really is a move. Could be forming an inverse head and shoulders. So pop up and then fade and then big move later this week, right? Or it just continues to fall off a cliff. It hasn't made a lower low yet, right? This big old pullback was just a regular low. So Pfizer, keep an eye on it. BNTX for sympathy, right? Wow, BNTX is falling off a cliff. So BNTX next stop is 177.11. If it breaks through this weekly bottom and back tests it, then you got monthly bottom coming in. Okay. So looking for a downside play, BNTX to the down. BNTX burn, sucker. Which makes me think that Moderna is probably going to do the same thing. Yeah, Moderna and BNTX move similar to each other. So Moderna 194 puts. Moderna below 194.31. We get a pretty big move. Monthly bottom is next at 83. So see how important this weekly, daily 4-hour bottoms are for support, because if those break, monthly bottoms incoming. So Moderna, on the 5-minute, I'm going to look for that inverse head and shoulders to form, and this is what that looks like, right? Quick little pop up, down, up, and then rip, right? Sorry. Something along these lines here. All right, that's the move I'd be looking at for Moderna for today. You're going to get a rally here, and then you're going to get a pullback probably at the open, and then it's going to try to make its move. Contrarian though, if this is not an inverse head and shoulders and it's simply just a longer term move to the downside, right? I gave you the levels. If it takes out 196, 195, if it takes out the pre-market low, quick little drop to 194 for support, and then below that it gets super ugly. Okay, this is Moderna 5-minute, right? Definitely very, very heavy. Okay. We have a bunch of banks that came out with earnings. So yeah, lots of financial earnings came out. SI, Silvergate Capital, they missed on earnings. So look for them to continue to fall off a cliff, right? Especially if they take out previous lows. So they missed on earnings. Mellon Bank, right? BK. Mellon Bank came out 101 EPS in line with estimates. Q4 revenues at $4 billion versus 3.98. Capital ratio 11%. Tangible book share 24. Quarterly non-interest expense of $3 billion increased 1%. So they had some pretty decent earnings there, right? I mean, they were in line, so I would say, big old pop, lock, and drop it, dude. That's just $1 move, though, so don't be like, wow, that's a huge move. It's just $1. So I'm not going to play this. Freeport-McMoRan. I love this stock. I can't believe I've been ignoring it. Positive mention in variance. Look at this 4-hour move right here. Rally, pullback, held to 21. I think Freeport-McMoRan this week. Yeah, I'm going to go in on this sucker. Pullback. Right up to support. I need it to get back. All right, let's look at this move for the open, right? Back up. Yeah, I like that. Looking at one of those for the open for FCX, right? On the 4-hour, it pulled back, held the 21, closed above it, right? So 2 closes above it lead me to believe that we're on a move back up to the upside. We held the daily cloud. We're in the weekly. We're at the 4-hour mid. So 4-hour mid to 4-hour top, right? Looking at 44.40, above 44. You know, get that $45 move again. This sucker moves nice. FCX. Options move real juicy. Okay. ConocoPhillips. So anything in XLF is gonna, or XLE is gonna rally today. And just let me show you what that looks like. on the 4-hour. Wow, big old drop. Boom, wick killer, just killed all those stops. Robbed people's lunch monies. So 4-hour top. So rally, pull back 4-hour top. If it holds support here and continues to move up, it's going to go trifecta mode. And it's just, I mean, this is a big move. Look at that. It's getting ready to go trifecta out of the 4-hour top. 67, 71, right? Big moves in place. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're looking at fifth wave possibly. Maybe that hit, and that's why it pulled back. So yeah, ConocoPhillips. Anything in energy is going to be good, right? It's all going to move pretty much the same, but ConocoPhillips, what a move! What a move! Blowout top. Off. They have earnings this week. Earnings next week. So IV might be a little inflated, but look at that. That's just a big old parabolic move. XLE, watch it. Pretty much any of the top stocks in XLE should be pretty good for you, okay? ASH, how am I doing on time? I'm running a little late here. All right, so Walmart appears to be looking to enter the metaverse after filling several trademarks to make and sell virtual goods, as well as applications to create its own cryptocurrency and non-fungible tokens. Walmart's trying to get in the game, but what do I see here? I see nastiness, right? Maybe a head and shoulders forming, right? So maybe a little pop to 151, 152 before it fade. Walmart, I'd be interested in Walmart on the break of 146.58. What was that sound? Or for the daily top at 147, 147, 152, right? Except for I think it's a little ill-timed. Walmart has earnings coming up in a couple weeks. So Under Armour upgraded to outperform from the market perform at BMO Capital. They're going to start buying into this again. Wrong stock. Under Armour, right out of the weekly, daily, 4-hour bottom. Well below the 21. So Under Armour move rally into earnings to 17.50, 18. Under Armour is really only a $15 stock. What the heck, dude? It was glorious. Okay, that makes sense. Doesn't Under Armour have another one? UAA. Oh, those are different, right? 19 pre-market. 16 pre-market. Oh, which one's which? Is this the Class A? One of these moves really well, and the other one moves like donkiness. Okay. Yes, I'll get Lucid, AMD, QQQ. All right. Airline stocks on watch. So, dang it. No, say it isn't so. Airline stocks being watched. American Airlines, Delta, United, and Love switches Southwest amid further warnings of the impact of 5G networks on aircraft navigation systems after AT&T and Verizon are set to roll out their 5G networks this week, even as the FAA warns they could interfere with aircraft instruments and impact visibility. AT&T and Verizon have vowed to create buffer zones in and around airports to limit disruption. Sketchy, dude. People taking down planes with their cell phone. I always used to think it was BS. It's not. They ask you to turn your phone off. Turn your dang phone off. I don't want to die because I'm on a plane with you and you want to check Twitter or TikTok. Got it? That was rough. Damn, that was harsh, bro. I'll call my cell phone on that. My bad. That was harsh as hell. Inverse head and shoulders on Unilever said Monday it would pursue a deal with GSK. Consumer business calling it a strong strategic fit, but shares slid and investors' doubts about its £50 million offer. GlaxoSmithKline confirmed over the weekend that it had rejected 3 bids from the company for the consumer healthcare business. Unilever's like, we want to buy you, and they said no, and everybody said goodbye. All right. All right, in world news, I'm going to go through this really quickly because I want to get into some plays. China's People Bank cut interest rates for the first time since the peak of the pandemic in 2020. They cut the rate of their 1-year policy loans by 10 BPS to 2.85% and slashed the rate of the 7-day reverse purchase agreements by 2.1%. Bank of Japan cuts its 2021 median gross domestic product forecast to 2.8 from 3.4, raises 2022 forecast to 3.8 from 2.9, cuts its 2023 to 1.1 from 1.3. They just said roller coaster. Goldman Sachs GS cuts its 2022 predictions for the U.S. to 3.4 from 3.8. Goodbye, GS. Have fun trading below the... Oh, they have earnings? They have earnings tomorrow? Or they have earnings today? How come their earnings didn't come out? How did I miss GS earnings? Did they just not report on GS? What a bunch of lames. Huh. Alright, so they missed on earnings. Right. Value area buy, rally up, wick killer. This wick took out all the stops. So look for a pretty decent pullback. So they've got the daily support at 375. They broke that. Monthly top at 370. They broke that. Jeez, GS. Got clapped, dude. Daily bottom at 369. They broke through that. They took out previous lows. All right, they're hitting a weekly bottom. 363. Oh, that's where they stopped. So you can't really see it. Let me just move this to the 4-hour chart so you can. Yeah, they hit the weekly bottom. Goldman Sachs. Is it going to be the bounce play of all time? They had earnings, so don't buy anything this week. Look for next week's. But Goldman Sachs into the weekly bottom. 363 to 350. Pretty significant downside move if they don't bounce here. Below the 200, below the 50, negatively stacked moving averages, bad earnings. Dead cat bounce, right? Big giant wick killer. I'll be watching GS for further continuation to the trash can. North Korea fired 2 suspected short-range ballistic missiles on Monday from an airport in its capital city of Pyongyang. South Korea's military reported the 4th test this month to demonstrate its expanding missile arsenal. War is good for business. I'm sorry to say that, but unfortunately it's going to help the market go up. Republican Youngkin began his term as governor in Virginia on Saturday with executive actions that tackle education in the pandemic, including a ban on critical race theory in public schools and lifting school mask requirements. Huh. I'm not going to go into that. Not getting into that. Sorry. We do have some news today. Weekly sales at 7:45. This is all Eastern Standard Time. Empire Manufacturing Index, Johnson Redbook weekly sales, and NAHB housing markets are all coming up. Earnings after the close, IBKR Interactive Brokers, and a bunch of other ones. Basically, banks came out today. And then finally, I know you guys have been waiting for this part. All right. We'll get into the futures really quickly, and let's go there. Here we go. U.S. futures are tumbling, adding to last week's losses, as rising treasury yields are weighing in the tech-heavy NASDAQ 100 index, which is almost down 2% as traders return from a long holiday weekend. The 10-year yield moves above 1.8 level, while the 2-year yield tops 1% for the first time since February 2020, reflecting investor concern for not only a prolonged period of faster inflation readings, but also a more aggressive response from the Fed, which could cut rates at least 3 times this year. Major averages declined last week, and the S&P and NASDAQ each slipped 0.3%, while the Dow and the Russell dropped over 0.8% amid more hawkish Federal Reserve commentary ahead of policy meeting next week. All right, just look, make sure you have a downside move, right? S&P is down 2.2%, while the Dow is down 1.1%, and the SP index has shed 0.5% year to date, so 3 weeks, right? With more than 1/3 of companies on the index at least 50% from their 52-week highs. That's sketchy. Crude oil futures are rising after selling with a 4th straight weekly gain on Friday, with rising tensions between Russia and Ukraine heightened the political potential for disruption to global crude supplies. While traders grew more optimistic over energy demand, the S&P energy sector, XLE, is already up 16% year to date. So the first 2 weeks, right? In Asia market, the Nikkei index fell 76 points. What's up? Don't do that. Bad. The Shanghai rose 0.8%, and the Hang Seng slid 0.43%. In Europe, the DAX is down, and the FTSE is down. So, what does that tell us? You had better have some puts in your arsenal, is all I'm saying. Let's check it. Let's check it. Now comes the time for our futures talk. We're going to do futures talk. I'm going to take a 5-minute break to go wake up some people. Some clowns. And then we'll go. So typically the way that my charts are set up, if the bottom rows down, the top rows up. That's the way we like to trade futures. Just kidding. Typically, we don't see both tops and bottoms down at the same time. In order, I got ES, NQ, YM, and the Russell. So major futures, major indexes. And on the bottom row, gold, crude, ZB, which is the 10-year bond, I think. And then the Japanese yen. So anytime these are down, especially like this, especially if bonds have been down, ES is usually up, so those are inverse. If gold is down, Bitcoin may be up. Those are inverse. Gold is falling off a cliff, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. That's a huge move. 1816 to 8. It's an 8-point move in 20 minutes. Pretty big. Crude, peaking, rallying. Bonds. So what I would like to, I don't want this big rally pre-market, right? We'd like it to come down, opening on lows, right, and then rallying to highs. So failed inverse head and shoulders. We overtook the 618. This big old red line here is a 200 period SMA on the 3-minute chart. I will look at these on the daily real quick. And let me get rid of some of my fib levels here because I know they're very distracting. On some of these charts, right? I modified my futures charts a little bit is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to throw these up on the 2-minute. I'm going to go through, reset all these, and then I got to go wake up some chitlins, and I will be right back. If you have requests, start getting them into me now. What is going on with gold, man? That's a big old drop. There's a massive support on the NASDAQ. Don't do this. So head and shoulders forming on the NASDAQ. Come down. Come back down. Come down here so that when we open here, we rip. Rejected the 200. Yeah, dude. No, don't give me all the move pre-market. Let me get some move during the market open. All right, I'll be right back. Give me a few moments, and if you have any questions, hit me up in the chat. And yes, I'll look so far on the list for FlowTrade. We're going to look at Micron. We're going to look at Lucid, AMD, QQQ. You guys don't want to look at ILMN, Netflix, Google Shop, Tesla, SPY. Come on. FCX. Oh, what is going on with the Dow? Oh, that's a big move down. Oh, that's a big move down. What happened? What just came out? 815. What comes out at 815? Anything? ICS weekly sales. Empire Manufacturing Index comes out at 830. Nothing's coming out right now. What is going on? What is happening? The entire market is dumping except for the ES. Look at the Russell. Dude, I don't have... Oh, I'm not going to do it. I so want to drop in a short right here. I can't. I just can't do it. What's going on? Like, is that... You see what I'm saying? The ES is just like, I do what I want. Well, everything else is taking a dump. A little concerned with the Dow. The Russell is always choppy, but this could be a setting up for a larger move down on gold. A big old 1618 or 618 pullback on crude. And then ZB, right? So you're saying Chevron, Walmart, Netflix? Not bad. Those are pretty decent choices. All right, I'll be back in a minute. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. That took me a little longer. I feel like my ES chart isn't updating because it hasn't moved. Or do they just pin ES? They're like, everything else can fall. ES is staying put. All right, so real quick, public service announcement, point of advice. Okay. If you started trading in 2020, 2021, and you're used to just, oh, the market will recover, the market will come back, stocks will always go up. Be prepared. This is going to be a downturn. We need it. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about here. So what I'm trying to say is, don't feel like you have to try to trade this. We're either going to get chop, or we're going to get a pullback, right? Too many things are affecting the market right now. Banks are coming out and saying that they're not going to make money this year, right? So I know that's a lot to look at. Let me just bring it in a little bit here so that we can see it. The ES lost its 50-day on the daily, and it's pulled back to this key level of support. Yes, there's a trend line right here, but is that trend line, is this one little line right here that I'm about to draw enough to keep the market up, right? Shit, it's not even there. It's somewhere in here, right? Somewhere in there. Is that enough? Is this little line, these two little lines, enough to keep the market from pulling back down to the snow line, which is a previous high, or even back down to the 200? I think we see the 200, right? 44.15. I think it would be good for the market, right? But below that, if we go snow line to snow line, then I'm going to get a little nervous, because I think then we're going to come down to this fire line, right? And then finally this next little snow line. So downside move. This is one standard deviation. This 42.23, right? We're about at a half standard deviation away. We haven't hit that in a long time. The last time we had the 200 was in July of 2020, June of 2020. We got a nice little rip off of that, but it was super choppy for several months before we found our feet again, right? Usually when we break the 200, right, we don't trade below it for, once we break the 50, we don't trade below it for very long, right? However, I think it's time for a correction. This yellow line is a 21 EMA. This blue line is the 50-period simple moving average, right? We're currently below both, bringing it down to, let's look at the 5-minute pre-market. Oh, you know what? I know why. Ha! This is why. I was like, why isn't it showing? There we go. I was like, something's wrong. Why isn't that moving? Why did everything else drop except for that? Okay. Again, 50 period. We held it on the 5-minute. We got the 21. If we take out 4603, then we have a down day, right? Bring it down, 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 down. That Justin Bieber song, right? 200 SMA on the 5-minute, 15-minute. Very similar story. Come on. Yo, there it goes. Right. Negatively stacked, 15-minute, 30-minute. Come on. It's calculating. There we go. 30-minute negatively stacked. Like, we're not looking the healthiest. Let me see if I can find another chart here. Oh, that's probably why. Let me do this. Okay. Come on. Just reset. Seriously? Alright, it's yes on the 3-minute. Extended hours data must be turned off. It is, sucker. All right, so look, lots of consolidation here, right? We're getting lots of buy signals on the money flow, right? VIX is declining, right? This is going into the close. Hold on, give me 1 second here. Let me fix this. Okay. It's a pretty significant decline, right? VIX is rising. And our money line is telling us do not buy. Right? Okay. Come on. So this VIX is increasing, so decreasing, increasing, right? All right. Let's get into some plays real quick. What was halted? ATVI got halted? No. No, it didn't, did it? Holy shit. Oh, I'm going to short the hell out of this. Oh my god. Hold on. And I'm caps locking. Oh, wow. Lordy, 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 lordy. Well, I told you that news came out. They're cleaning house. They're like, we're sick of this. I said fire the whole bunch. Fire the entire thing. Dude, can you imagine if you had ATVI? Like, we talked about ATVI last week. Look at the algo. Look at that. Bullish divergence. Boom, chakalaka. I mean, they ripped through that. Do you think somebody knew something? Do you think somebody knew something? Yes, absolutely they know what's up. That's why this algorithm is so important. So let's get into the plays. Let's go. All right, what you're looking at now is the smart money dark pool and block trade algorithm software provided by FlowTrade. 1 second. Let me go wake up my chicken heads. All right. What you're seeing in front of you is the smart money dark pool and block trade algorithm software provided by FlowTrade. FlowTrade has created their own Flow Algo index, which tracks large institutions, hedge funds, smart money, block trades, dark pools, and large purchases, and well, just large transactions. It's not just purchases. Tracks all the transactions. It's created a predictive algorithm that shows what large smart money is doing. What we look for is we look for a divergence where price action is heading in one direction and the algorithm is heading another. So for example, on ATVI, the algo has been net buying since December 21st, which means smart money has been buying into this stock even as it's rising. All right, they started taking profits. Divergence occurred at approximately 65. That divergence played out here, right? And since then it's trading with price action, dragging price up with it. The reason we look for that divergence is because smart money, the way that they have to get into positions is they get into positions as the stock price is falling, so that as to not interrupt or falsely inflate the stock price. So like kind of like a drop of water, right? If you've ever seen a drop of water in slow motion, it'll drop, right? And then the surface tension will break, and then there'll be a reaction where where the water actually comes up above the surface. So if they dropped in $1 billion order, what would happen is it would initially inflate it, right? But then once the volatility wore off, it would drop it. So it's kind of inverse. So they have to steadily, as price is coming down, they're buying into it, right? So that once price hits a bottom, right, and starts to come up, right, once that divergence is played out, they can start selling out of it. All right, so this is just a real quick lesson in it. First person up this morning was Johnny with Micron, and then we're going to look at who's up next. Shop, Lucid, Verkilla, AMD. All right, let's get into it. Shall we? We shall. Hold on 1 second here. Seriously? Okay. I'm going to bring these up so they're a little bit easier to see for everybody. Really quickly, the white line is the regular algorithm. Green bars are price action. Red lines across the screen, I know they're hard to see, so I'd look left to see if there's a number over here. Those red lines are regular block trades. Blue lines will be dark pool block trades, and white lines will be fun. I'll try to get white lines put on there, but I have to go in and set up the colors to do that. So I may not be able to do it. So currently the algorithm is currently they're starting to buy into Micron again. Micron itself is created. It's got a little bit of a trendline support coming into it. It rejected this block trade at 96.33. It's got some overhead resistance that it's running up into. We're running into a supply zone here. The algo is pointed up, so I think we can see continued movement up. I'm going to keep an eye on the algo at this level because it's coming up into previous resistance, right? The last time it hit this little zone, right, it decided it wanted to consolidate and then fall off, dragging price action down with it. See how the algo is moving with price action, so there's no clearly defined divergence. I typically would like price to be above, or the algo to be above price action. Sometimes when it's below it, it's setting up for a little bit like a different move, right? I like it when it's above it. However, with the algo pointed up, there may be, see, we don't have real divergence here, right? Trading with price, trading with price, trading with price, right? So here is the divergence that has played out, right? It came back down, that divergence has played out, and now price is just moving with the algorithm. Overhead resistance at about 98, regular blocks at 97.36, supporting block at 96.47. Possible inverse head and shoulders forming, but below 96.47 we have a regular block trade down here at 94.44. See how price jumped right off of that or this regular block trade right here? Can't really see it, but there's a regular block right there. I know it's hard to see. There's not a lot I can do about. Maybe just zooming it in a little bit. Yeah, I've asked to make these lines editable so that we can make them thicker if needed. I don't know if they're going to do it. Okay, next up on our list was Shop. So remember, Shop had that news this morning. Let's look at divergence. So divergence occurred here. Did that divergence ever play out? So price up. Looks like divergence came back. Right, so divergence here. Played out, trading with price action, trading with price, right? Newly formed divergence here. That divergence played out. So as long as the algo can continue to make higher highs and higher lows, it is coming up into like a previous trading zone, right? Right here for the algo. We will keep an eye on it. I also like the fact that Shop, big old move, little bull flag forming on price action, right? Previous resistance right here, which is now support. There is a zone that it wants to get back up in. There's a trading zone that runs. Ooh. Right, you got a zone there, and you got a zone here. So that's This little area, this 1123 to 1140 is a trading zone. It's currently in a trading zone right now. So, well, let's see. Trade up to that, right? Trade up to that, trade up in that, pull back, rallied up, pull back, found support. All right, so at the top of it's at the top of this previous zone. So we'd look for it to move up to the next zone, which is 1120 above. So then from 1120 to 1140, it trades up to the top of that, and then it makes a decision. If it rejects this 1120, it's going to come back and it's got support right here at 1100. Okay, Algo's pointed up. Algo's making kind of a little bit of a possible inverse head and shoulders. It would mean it would need to drop down and then up again. Okay, that was Shopify. Lucid. I'm bullish on Lucid. Lucid's lockup period's coming soon. The algo has started to make higher lows and higher highs. This inverse head, or this head and shoulders, I am a little concerned about, right? So if we can't rally above 43.50 for a move up, and we start back testing stuff, just be aware there is a inverse head and shoulders forming. Left shoulder, big old head, right shoulder, dark pull level at 43.15. Above that, I think we're bullish. We're at dark pull clusters at 41.50. That's our support level. We do have a regular block down here at 41.05 that came in on the 14th. Right? This is a 14th, 13th, 14th. So this regular block 41.05 came in at the bell on the 14th. It's never been filled, so it's just sitting here. Okay, there's a regular block. I wish it gave me the levels. Regular block at 41.05 that needs to be filled. So do we get a pullback to 41.05? I think we might get one before it rallies up. All of these dark pulls, right? These are all buy orders. And then this one came in on the 13th at 15.07. All right, so these sell orders right here, or this dark pull came in at 15.07 for 43.15, right? And it did not get filled until it wicked up in here on Friday. So it wicked up, it filled those orders. Those are probably take profits, probably sells, since it pulled back to support. Like I said, that key level 40, let's just call it 43. Above 43, we can look to go long. Like I said, we might come back down and need to fill this regular block. So keep an eye on the algorithm. If it does take a downturn, I would put in some puts at 41.05 and then look to see if it bounces there, right? That is the neckline as well. Well, yeah, 41.50 is your neckline. Below 41.05, I think we get a longer term pullback. If that level holds, then I think we get a longer term move to the upside. All right, that was Lucid, AMD. I'm interested in AMD as well. So AMD Algo is consolidating. Well, it's trying to make higher highs. So it did break out of its little zone that it was in. It's got overhead resistance that it's going to trade up into. So I would look for the algorithm to possibly interact with this level here, this 129, all the way up to about 131. Okay, that little $2 move there. We bounced right off of a regular block at 131.75, right? 114.10. So this came in at 9.59, and that was a big, massive buy order. Shot price up, pulled back to a dark pull level, 10.37. Right, that was probably another buy order, which rallied price action up to this another dark pull level that came in at the close on the 14th. Right, so we bought here, right? We sold here. If it didn't get filled, they may have bought in again here. Well, 1037, 134. So, but regardless, we've got a Wu-Tang pattern reversal. If AMD can get above 137, I think we see 140 above 140. Then it starts to get a little choppy. There's a trading zone that runs 140.50 up to about 144.50, so $4 range there. That's the zone I want to trade in, right? I want to, rally up to 140, get into the 140, 145 zone, right? Those are super juicy contracts. Wu-Tang reversal getting set up. 1, 2, 3, reversal, right? So, does that make sense? So we got this zone. We got a zone top or bottom there that trades to this zone here. This is the top, right? So from top to bottom. So this is a trading zone. I think we might be at the beginning of the top of another one. I'd have to pull up my other charts. Let's see if I've got one set up here real quick. Just checking back in on futures. I never really went through futures, did I? I just said the ES. Look at that recovery in gold. Gold is bull flagging. Crude is bull flagging. The yen is up, right? The Russell is down. Right, the Dow rejected the 200. NASDAQ is chopping. So is the ES. Okay. But yeah, if we reject this dark pool level, then we trade back down to 134, 132, and then finally 131. So if we reject this level and it's a failed reversal, right, then we can trade all the way back down to 130. That would mean the algo would kind of not make higher highs and higher lows and start pulling back. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one. That's AMD. QQQ, bearish divergence, lots of block trades. So see that 1, 2, 3 reversal that we're looking at on AMD. If QQQ rejects all of these dark pulls and pulls back to 378.50, 377 zone, right? That should be support. If it breaks it, we can look at 375 and then lower. The algo is pointed down, price action is pointed up. Remember, so price is heading in this direction here. The algo is heading in this direction here. So that divergence has got to play out at this point, right? Basically, at this point here. Let's see. So I would look for a pullback if we can't get above these dark pool levels. So if we can't get above 380.50, I think we pull back 375. So the 375 puts will be on watch. It's tough. Let me just clear this down to the last 3 days. All right, so I think that clears it up a little bit, right? Rallied through dark pools, came back, used some support, rallied up to these ones. Or these could be sell orders. We pull back to 377. Below that, right, we can continue in our downtrend. Okay. We may gap down on that. All right, next up was Tesla. All right, Tesla, the algo is basically trading with price action, a little double bottom on both. We have a white line, which means that there's a regular and a dark pool level that are printed on top of each other at 1048, 1047, right? So with the algorithm not really bullishly diverged or anything like that and pointed up, I don't want to say I'm bearish on Tesla, but looking at, I mean, either that's a falling wedge breakout and then we trade out of this zone, right? There's a zone that runs this 1050 to 1075. Above that, I think we can get long, right? Tesla's got I mean, we could very easily pull back to 1025 and then 1,000. This algo isn't super strong, right? It's not like this one, right, where it's super bullish. It's just trading straight up with price action right now. And price is at a point where these are either buy orders and we get a rip, or they're sell orders and we get a pullback. That's on Tesla. What was next? The SPY. Looking at the SPY. Where did it go? There's this dark pool level right here that came in on the 13th after the close, right? So y'all see where my mouse is? Okay. There's a dark pool block right here at 471, right? If that's just sitting there. So either those are buy orders or those are sell orders. They're going to act as a magnet either way. We have another block that came in on the 13th at the close. Or excuse me, it came in at 1600, which is basically right here. That is open as well. So 467.45, 471.04 are my two dark pulls to the upside, right? As long as we can maintain 465, I think we get a magnet pull up to those. The algo is pointed straight up, so they're net buying into it off of this bottom here. And we have some white lines, so support 462.87 and finally 461. If 462.82 breaks, 461 incoming below that, then we have to look at previous lows, right? 460, 458, and so on. Does it make sense? But as long as the algo is pointed straight up, it should be interesting. What I don't want to have happen is see how this algo is pointed straight up and then it immediately started pulling back. Yeah. SPY is coming up into a trading zone right now that runs 465 to 468. So trade in that zone. Okay, next up on our list was Chevron. Looking at Chevron on the algorithm. Whew, that's not the greatest, but so that divergence has not played out yet. We have divergence at 126.85. We have regular blocks at 128.90. So 129. Those may be sell orders for taking profit, right? It would make sense to me. The algo started selling last time it got to this level. So the algo rallied up at 129. The algo, right, started selling, right? Now it's trying to make a higher low and higher high. So that divergence may play out. So if on Chevron these are sell orders, we can look at a move 128.73, 128, all the way down to 126.83, right? Contrarian, so if the algo continues to rip and breaks its overhead, like it's got some longer term. And it's right at key levels. So if it rejects here, then that's a big old head and shoulder on the algorithm. If it rips through it, then oh, there's just divergence right here. So there's divergence right here that hasn't played out yet. See how price, they sold off, price rallied up, price is buying, right? Algo's trading with price action, divergence. So this divergence, it's only about $2, has not played out yet, okay? All right, moving on to the next one, which was Walmart. All right, so I'm bearish on Walmart because the algo is net selling, right? See how they've been selling since pretty much the 21st, right? Prices, let's see, diverged, played out. This divergence, most of this divergence is played out here, right? Most of this divergence here is played out. We've got newly formed divergence here. Basically at that level. See, at that level where price, the algo was selling off. Price was increasing, right? It came back. Right there, that divergence played out. That occurred here. Looks like, I think we see a little bit more of a move to the downside on Walmart. Now, keep in mind, Walmart came out today and said that they're getting into the metaverse. So that may create some additional pops. We have dark pools at 145.27 and 145.47. Those look like they had been filled, so those will be resistance. I just think that it's, you know, it's really heavy. Like the algo is trying to make a reversal, but I think it's just as easily can pull down. So Walmart, downside target on Walmart for me is the 143 level, right? If it rejects some of these upsides, okay? ATVI, right? We knew that there just went parabolic. All this previous divergence in net buying is played out. Intel. All right, so I think we got a big volume spike from these block orders, but we do have divergence. Well, not really divergence. So price action is trading with the algorithm, right? And as long as the algo continue to make higher highs and higher lows, I think that price will follow up with it. There's a dark pool at 55.70 that came in on the 14th at the close here. If those are profit taking, look for a pullback to 55.17, or if it breaks this trend line, 55.17, 54.95, 54.84. If it gets below that 54.84 level, there is right downtrending support here. We are coming up right, a little bit of a falling wedge, and we'll see what happens if it can break above this dark pool and this overhead resistance. Then I think we see 56, right, and possibly even more if the algo continues to buy. And then snow. All right, I'll be right back. Dang it. Sorry, I just realized my chicken heads hadn't woken up yet. All right, Snowflake. I like this stock for this week. It was on the weekend watch list. It got some news. It got upgraded. Little bull flag breakout here on the algorithm, right? Price action is uptrending. We have support. There's a trading zone, 291 to 300. No block trades in the last 5 days, right? So this is gonna be pretty much pure price action, right? I'm gonna target 290, 300, 310. They're all really decent levels for snow. Let's see what it's doing this morning. All right, snow in the morning. So it's everything dropped this morning. It's fought its way back up to some cloud resistance. Keep in mind it's got this 200 SMA on the 6-minute that it's got to get above. So basically above 292.20, right, is my level for snow. So 292, 295, 300, 305, 310, 315, blah, on and on and on and on. Checking back in on futures one more time, and then I got to run. I got to get set up for my other stream. Let me just grab. So I'm going to be paper trading today because I'm learning a new strategy. And don't tell me about it, dude. I'm so upset. This market's going to make so much money for people today. But I am trading, paper trading, so that I can get used to my new trading system. Right? Still doing I'm still doing my Kelt strategy. It's just I've got some options specific things that I'm looking at now, and I want to get used to that, so I don't want to blow up my accounts. Snowflake pre-market. So Friday it went below the 200 just for a second, right? It dipped below it. Now it's got to get back above it. So for snow, like I said, above 292, I think there's a move to 300, right, before we hit some more resistance, and then 310. Yeah, so for our bottom, for our mid, which is also the daily cloud top, or daily bottom cloud top, and then above 300, 310, right, and then 320. So those snow 320s, I like. Let's look at them. So the snow 320s. All right, I'm gonna look at Apple real quick since nobody brought it up. I stream for the Bullish Bears on Tuesdays and Fridays for their trade rooms, for their members. All right, so Apple, I think I went over on Apple over the weekend. So they've been selling out of Apple for the last couple weeks. Lots of regular block or dark pools coming in. We have a white line for Apple at 171. If Apple breaks that 171, it's definitely got some downtrending capabilities. The algo is just kind of falling off a cliff, right? So this divergence here is not played out. There's divergence on Apple at 171 or 170. Yeah, 171. This divergence has to play out. It's not played out yet. So I'm looking at Apple to the downside, 171. Netflix earnings coming up, so be wary of that, right? This is just an up and down like a roller coaster. Big old pop on Friday, and then pull back to regular block trade support at 525. Netflix, like, I don't even want to try to trade this. The algo is just too back and forth, especially with earnings coming up. ILMN. So they just had news. The algo is trading with price action, right? So it's not like there's bullish divergence one way or bearish divergence. There is a level there that the algo has got to get above, right? And if it breaks out above that, it's definitely going to help pull price action up. We got a dark pool. We got a regular block trade at 399.51. And if you remember right, ILMN had some news today. Big old rally off of that, right? I'm looking for them to get, this just be the 618 pullback. I'm looking for them to go weekly mid support. So they would need to get, where are they at? Right here. 405, 410, 415, 425 on ILM. ILM. Let's do 420. Nice round number. BNTX, I want it to burn to the ground. However, we've got, what is the algo doing? The algo has found support, right? The flow index has found support, and it should, divergence played out. Divergence played out. We've got a little bit of bullish divergence that's occurred at 200. All right, price is heading one direction, the algorithm is heading in another direction, and that is at $200 level. So come on. BNTX 200s. I don't know if it's ever going to get back to 200, to be honest with you. Weekly support for our bottom, right? That's in a, like, it's do or die for this sucker. Like I said, if it can't hold 183, 177 incoming, followed by 164. I mean, this does look like a reversal candle. So, like I said, 200 is the first divergence, right? I don't even know what those 200 contracts look like. Sorry, I'm looking at BNTX. $220s. I think that's decent. Those 220s on BNTX are at $1.65. I might look at those. Lots of open interest, lots of volume on those. BNTX. If it breaks down and it can't retake the 34 and it can't reverse, then I'm going to look at the 170s. 170 puts. So that was the 220 call, 170 puts on BNTX. And then Freeport McNaran, which is one of my favorite ones. Oh, I'm kind of close again. If it holds support, I think it can rally back up to 45. Let's look at it on the Flow Index. Freeport McNaran, Algo is trading with price action. Previous divergences have all played out. Dark pool levels at 44. Dark pool at 44.29. Bounced right off of this regular block trade at 43.24. All right, Algos are buying into it. Like I said, let's look at the 45s on those. FCX is a copper play, by the way. Oh, those are so juicy. I'm just going to buy a Delta 70 on those. So the 42s, right? The 42s. So if we get that pullback, right, I'm going to look at the 42s for a rip to 45, right? So that's it. All right, I got to run. Thanks for joining me. I'm Dark Pool Algo. I'm here every morning, Monday through Friday. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, share it with your friends, families, coworkers, neighbors, everybody, or anybody you think that could benefit from the stream. Please leave comments in the comment section below. I'm still looking for t-shirt ideas and topics for me to shoot videos on. Let me know. Have a great day. We will see you all later. Bye now.